What's going on, guys? Over here today bringing you Let's Talk F1 2015, and today we'll be analysing the Mercedes W06 Hybrid. So the Mercedes 2015 title challenger has been unveiled today at Jerez. It was actually leaked a little bit by the Twitter team earlier in the week, but the official launch has now happened at Jerez, and we've got some more high quality pictures of the Mercedes so we can see what's going on. Now, to be honest, before I start this video, it's probably going to be a bit of a shorter analysis compared to some of the other cars, because actually not a lot has changed, and why should it really? They won last year's championship with an absolutely dominant car, with both drivers winning multiple races, and they didn't really need to change too much, apart from making sure the front end complied with the regulations. As you can see on screen now, they've done just that, because the front end pretty much looks like last year's car, but just with a very small tip at the end and sort of squashed in, and that's to comply with the new regulations, obviously, with a 9,000mm area needed by the nose tip, but then they've got a brand new 20,000 area needed behind. So this nose is a different kind of solution to what we've seen compared to the Williams, which sported a thumb. We've seen the Mclaren gone for a very long nose along with Ferrari. This is a lot like Lotus's design, but a little bit different. But as we look at the rest of the front wing and the whole front end itself, not a lot has changed, to be honest, from last year. Last year, Mercedes had superior aero and engine advantage, so to be honest, they didn't need to change much, they just refined everything. They've still got a 5-element wing going on at the moment, which is one of the most complex on the grid versus the Red Bull. But if you compare the front wing to the one they ran at Abu Dhabi for the last race of the last season, it is pretty much a carbon copy, maybe but a different paint job, and a few little winglets here and there at different angles, especially towards the outside on the trailing edge, but it's pretty much the same thing, and why wouldn't it? Because apart from adding cascades on the front to add a bit more downforce, maybe channel it a bit more intricately to the rear of the car from to underneath of the car, you can't really do too much in terms of adding on elements of the wings. You know, putting on a 6-element wing or a 7-element is just not needed, and is really just going to create drag then. The nose has been shaped in such a way that they've got quite a small area underneath the nose tip, but what you can see just about is a little bump underneath the nose, and that's shaped in a way when any air goes under the nose tip, it will follow the path of that curve. As I've explained in my Mclaren analysis video, when air moves around a curved surface, it will get chucked up to the winglets underneath the car, and then that will in turn channel it towards the barge boards and then around the rest of the car. Also, with this narrow nose tip, they've allowed for quite a lot of area on the left and right of the nose to allow airflow just to go straight through to underneath of the car, and also just allow for general turbulent air to go through. So now we move to the side and the back end of the car, where there are a few things to note here. You can see the usual slot gaps at the top. That's nothing really new, every single team runs it, and you can see also what the Mercedes have been running for pretty much since 2011. They had these two little fins on the rear wing. You can actually see the detail a lot more on the right side, on the black part of the carbon fibre, instead of the left side with the silver. It's basically a little ridged wing that allows the air to flow upwards and create a net downforce. Mercedes have also refined their roll hoop structure. They've now got a single inlet that splits, so at the top, the air going in at the top will probably be for cooling because there's a smaller hole, and then the bottom one will be for the engine combustion. You can't really tell too much about the side pods and the bodywork of the Mercedes, but it has changed a bit slighter, and it's generally a lot more tighter packaging. In red, you can see I've just drawn arrows just to show the geometry of the actual side pod, just so you can see the shape, the rough shape of the outline of the side pod, and it's pretty much the same thing they ran last year, but I think they've tightened up a little bit on the top end. Definitely going up from the side pod to the engine cover, they've tightened it up quite a lot, as you can see, because some quite smooth, dramatic curves going up towards that top half. And so finally, we've got this shot from sort of top down. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a completely top down view of the Mercedes, so we couldn't see any sort of Coke bottle shape, but you can pretty much see it there. It's pretty much a Coke bottle shape going on with the side pods. It's probably not as pronounced as the Red Bull or the Mclaren, but then again, each team has their own philosophy, as we've seen, and as I explained in some other videos, you can't simply just put two different philosophies together and make it work. Also, from this angle, you can see on the rear wing tip, you can also see 3 little fins striking down, and that again will be to push air downwards towards the diffuser as well. There'll also be some little winglets on the floors as well to direct air towards the gap between the rear tyre and the rear wing to create a sort of vacuum structure to allow the diffuser to be really effective. But apart from this, nothing else is really that new on the Mercedes, and why should it really? I mean, last year they had such an advantage that this year they could really just maybe not even focus on performance and just focus on that reliability of the engine and the general housing of it, and they could still probably get away with winning the championship. The rest of the car is pretty usual stuff. As you can see on the front of the side pod, you've got the vortex generators coming up from the floor where the Petronas sign is on the silver wing. And then in general, when looking at the car, you can see the usual bits that were there last year. Really, they've got the distinctive massive kind of tusk kind of camera pods coming out to just aid a little bit of aero. They've still got that suspension that they were the ones that came up with that double wishbone suspension, and they got the usual little winglets here and there on the floor. You can see from this angle a lot better. You can see the light allows you to see a little winglet just coming out the floor directed at the rear tire. That will literally just be to push air towards that area where they want it for the diffuser. And also you can see the monkey seat. They haven't done too much with the monkey seat this year. It's pretty much the same as last year. They've used it once again to act as also a rear wing support, so it's kind of connected to it. But there you go, that is the Mercedes W06. I know, not too much to analyse, but to be honest, why would they need to do that much? Don't change your formula when it's working for you. And, you know, from what we've seen in testing so far today, Jerez, they're absolutely amazing so far. You know, Rosberg doing, I think, what was it, 133 when I last checked, maybe a bit more, I think 150 maybe at the end of testing laps on the first day, which is absolutely amazing. I had a few people asking why that would be like an amazing feat. Basically, to put it in perspective, all the engineers of rival teams were surprised that Mercedes did that much. In the first hour, they got 50 laps under their belts, which is just crazy to me. And all the engineers and all the world of Formula 1, really, they've got bulletproof reliability so far, it seems, because they're able to get out the box straight away from testing. This is not a practice session or anything, it's a testing session. The car is meant to, it's a brand new car. I mean, even though it looks very similar, it is all built new for this car. So it's a brand new car, obviously new engine parts maybe, and they've just got out the box and straight away gunned it with 150 laps or so. So yeah, Mercedes are looking very strong, and again, I'm tipping them to dominate the season. Unfortunately for, you know, non-Mercedes fans, I think it might be another boring season for us, but definitely for Mercedes fans, it's going to be a good year for you guys. I think Mercedes are definitely going to walk away with this once again, because it looks like the reliability is amazing, unless Red Bull or Ferrari or Mclaren can pull something out of the bag, and Williams, of course, sorry. If they can pull something out of the bag, they could maybe get a few wins here and there, but I don't see them any of them challenging, to be honest, really, yet. I think it may be a good like year and a bit, or even 2 years, 3 years, until people catch up to Mercedes, or maybe even a rule change. So yeah, the Mercedes looking good. So that has been the Let's Talk from Mercedes. Unfortunately, not too much to analyse, but maybe that's a good thing for Mercedes fans. You know, it's good. It's a good old same car, pretty much, apart from the nose. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy that, then do give it a like, comment below what you thought. I'm going to be doing the Red Bull analysis tomorrow. If you didn't see, the Red Bull has come up with a very interesting livery, a very cool livery. It's actually there to camouflage the car, so it's making it a lot harder to try and analyse it. So it's going to take a bit longer for me to try and pick out some stuff, but that will be coming tomorrow. So look forward to that, along with career mode, obviously. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy that, again, give it a like. Comment below what you thought, subscribe for new around here for weekly F1 just like this, and also gaming content if that's your kind of thing. And I've been Aarava, hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time.